What's up, everybody? Poncetive channel here, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to take a little bit, just a quick break, because we're gonna have a couple of trailer reactions, maybe some comments about movie news and stuff later. But I thought it'd be a really good opportunity to talk about, um, you know, YouTube channels and starting your own YouTube channel. And the reason being is because today, pretty much almost exactly to the day, marks just under 1 month. I started July 4th, in which I uploaded my very first, I'd say, real video or content to my brand new YouTube channel. And, I thought it'd be a cool video to just kind of go over and talk about, what that's like. For the most part, I think we all browse the internet, social media. We look at content creators, we look at YouTubers, we look at TikTokers, we look at, Instagram Reels and whatnot. And we don't think too much about what goes on behind the scenes for these content creators to bring you their content. Um, I would say that there's a stigma for sure when thinking about anyone who creates content for the internet, whether it be social media or other platforms. Um, and, I'm just a regular guy. At the moment, I have a regular day job, we'll call it. And, this was done purely out of, I guess, a passion, a few passions that I have, and just wanting to share with a community or create a community, and create a platform for myself in which I can just share, whatever I find interesting, whatever I'm passionate about. And I do tend to feel that, some of my interest does kind of cover a wide spectrum of different hobbies and whatnot. So, it's really just, it's not something to where obviously I'm not profiting off of this at this point. I just started my YouTube channel. But I have to tell you that, for those of you that are on the fence, maybe about starting your own YouTube channel, it takes a lot. This is something that has been, on my mind for, I want to say, like, well over a decade. When I started seeing the initial content creators on YouTube kind of having fun with it. And it's just something that in the back of my mind, I kept going over it in my mind over and over again. Like, what could I do to kind of maybe get into that space? But the thing is I had full-time jobs, throughout that time period. And, in today's world, it'd be nice if we could have like separate hobbies that are in the public eye, that don't create problems with our employers. But I do think that, nowadays, if you have a full-time gig or a day job of any kind and you're making social media, there's kind of like, first of all, there's a pressure when you commit to making a social media page or a YouTube channel or something of that nature to kind of be controversial so you can get clicks, right? I mean, that's the goal of most every content creator, is to get as many viewers as possible. And one of the fastest, roadways or pathways to getting a lot of viewers is to say and do controversial things on camera. From my perspective and observation over more than a decade, since social media and the internet kind of began, I've been watching and seeing what people do. And ultimately, most of the most famous YouTubers nowadays, back when they started, I observed that they just did dumb things, or what I call cheap tricks, to kind of get well known. And then, to their credit, some of them turned into, entrepreneurs, or real business minds, by springboarding that kind of like low level talent of doing dumb, performative tricks in front of the camera to get basically build their audience base, and then kind of like once they got to a certain level and a certain amount of followers, they kind of pivoted and then got a little more serious on the business side. But I'm I purely at this point, I don't, it's so, if you're going to start your own YouTube channel, I would tell you to, go into it with no expectations. Especially don't go into it thinking like, I need to make money off of this. Don't do that. If that's how you start out, the chances and the likelihood of you burning out very quickly are extremely high. Most people, I don't have statistics in front of me, but I would say more than 95, 96% of people who start off making a YouTube channel, end up quitting. It's just, that's, unless you have a passion for making videos, sharing your opinions, sharing your passions, making things that are interesting for people to view online, you're just not gonna, I don't think you're gonna make it. So, that's the first thing I would say is like, don't have some sort of high financial expectations for doing this, because there's no early rewards for this unless you're absolutely like that lucky to have like one of your first 10 videos go viral or something like that. And even when that happens, you kind of see like some people, kind of under happenstance happen to go viral and then try to become, internet stars and springboard that to new ideas. And then they're led by, sneaky, sleazy, slimy people that just want to profit off of their 15 minutes of fame, and they steer them in the wrong direction. The Hawk Tuah girl's a really good example of that. But, you have to have, I would say, for most people trying or thinking about starting a YouTube channel or any other platform, TikTok, whatever, the hardest thing for you is going to be losing your fear of showing your face on camera publicly. There's a lot of talk, of course, about doing faceless YouTube or, social media to where you can, blow up. And I mean, I'm sure the opportunity's there. But that was not my choice. I wanted to have a real connection with whoever I build as an audience. So I opted to, finally, at this point in my life, it's like, yes, I have a day job and whatnot, but, pretty low profile. And I have no expectations. I don't expect for my channel to blow up and go super viral and get millions of followers, at least right away. If it happens, it happens. Cool. If it doesn't, I'm happy to have a smaller audience for the time being, because again, this is just a passion that I'm doing as a hobby. If more comes down the road, then I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But, for now, I am now no longer with like employers, I think, that would immediately terminate me, if they found out that I have a YouTube channel. It's not something that I share openly with anybody or a lot of people, really. To each their own. You do what you want to do based on what you can do. And that's kind of where I'm at, and it's been nearly, a month, almost 30 days or so. And I have to say that I've had a blast with this. And as you can see, most of you coming and seeing this video will probably look over my channel and say, well, after a month, how's this guy doing? If the standard of successful for a YouTuber in his first month is to have like, tens of thousands of followers or millions of followers, then no, by all means, I'm not successful. But the thing is I smile because I don't really care. That's why it's a passion that I'm following, because I just kind of like what I'm doing. I'm having more fun doing this and, having a kind of day job, a menial day job to pay my bills. And then doing this with my free time. I'm having more fun doing this than when I was out there in the corporate world, pretty high up there, having to at times wear suit and tie and go impress, CEOs, vice presidents, directors, presidents, and you know, uh, high class executives within really big companies. Um, because this is more of my own thing. This is more of my own passion, and I can talk about whatever. I love movies. I love video games. I love, um, media news stories. I love following pop culture. I love my country. I love America. I love what's going on here. I love what's going on around the world, and pay attention to these things. And it's just stuff I want to follow. I love tech. I love doing unboxings and things like that. So. I just thought it'd be cool to kind of share, a progress video of where I'm at after 1 month of having my channel. And, I highly recommend it. It can be therapeutic. It can be, it's almost like a journal at this point where, there's not thousands of people that are coming into my channel and, making comments, there's always going to be people that come in and they're going to be critical. Like they could literally not like something about you, the way you look. They, back in the days before internet, we used to call them telephone tough guys. The people that would talk to you in a certain way over the telephone because they knew you couldn't get to them, could never find them, to maybe give them some repercussions for the way they behaved. And then it became, keyboard warriors. And there's so many keyboard warriors out there. There's people who hide behind their profile pics and, profile names that have nothing to do with who they really are. They're just really confident in basically bullying people on the internet because they feel safe. So, you have to have a thick skin. That's another thing I'm going to say. If you want to start your own YouTube channel, have a very thick skin, okay? You have to not take things personally. Remember, these people who are commenting on whatever, your opinions, your appearance, your whatever you talk about, if it's just, you have to let it go in one ear and go out the other. You can't dwell on these things. You can't get angry. You can't post back replies that are like, aggressive. These people you're never going to meet these people. You're never going to see them, probably never hear from them again, talk to them. If you do, that is a problem. If you see people that, ultimately end up finding you, stalking you, or whatever, that is a problem that you will have to report to authorities and be very, very careful. I advise everybody who's starting their own internet channel or YouTube channel to be very careful with that. Don't be careful with what you share on screen. Be careful with the information that's available about you on the internet, and of course, protect yourself. Be ready should anybody try to locate you and, beat you up or take you out for whatever your opinions are, of going public online. People on this one thing that's really occurred to me is like the people who have their own YouTube channel or social media pages, I don't think they get enough credit for the level of courage they have to actually show their face in front of a camera. This is like it is it's almost like going on a stage and stripping down naked. It's almost the equivalent of that because it's on such a grander scale than, say, you know, a small theater where you go on stage and you're performing a play, and let's say it requires nudity or something. Like, it feels like you're out in the nude, because so many people, unfortunately, in today's world, are so negative. They live off of negativity, and they want to criticize. You get your positive people out there who will be very kind and nice and say nice things, but that's something that it comes with the territory. It sucks that you have to think about that. That wow, these I may get my feelings hurt. I may, people may really touch a nerve. All you have to do is brush it off and keep your calm. Keep to what you're, keep behind your purpose of doing the channel, which is follow your passion, talk about what you're passionate about, and pay no mind to the real nasty people online. That's all I'll say. And again, for the most part, notice this: those that are nasty or posting anything nasty on your channel, most likely just go ahead and take a quick look at their profile. They have no followers themselves. They're literally just consumers of internet, and they just want to troll. They just want to stalk and troll and be nasty because for whatever reason in their lives, they don't either have the want or the need to create a channel themselves. For whatever reason, they want to stay anonymous, or they don't have the courage to follow their passion if that's something they want to do, even though they're living vicariously through the people that they're watching and hating on. So just keep these things in mind. I personally am having a blast with this. I am. I love talking about the things that I enjoy talking about. I talk to you guys as if like I'm in a group of friends, updating you on the latest things I've heard about whatever games, movies, tech. And it's really, I don't know how else to describe it other than like very therapeutic. So yeah, July 4th, I kicked it off. It's now August 3rd, and it's been a blast. And I kind of like worked hard in my downtime from my day job to get as many videos up as I could in a month. And I'll continue to keep doing the same to keep getting as much videos and content up as possible. So now all I ask is that, if you happen to come across my video, and you're interested in following the journey of a guy who just started his own YouTube channel, who hopes to one day have, a pretty broad and big audience, follow me now. Be one of those that jumped in on the early onset of it. And you can say, yeah, I joined the Poncetive channel when he had, less than 100 followers, less than 1,000 followers, and now he's wherever. That would be, really cool. But of course, I'm honored, and it's always a pleasure to have any of you, join my channel. Please remember to hit the subscribe button. And, I'm keeping it really mellow for the time being. And I've got a lot more content to come. So I want to thank everybody who has joined me on this journey in the first month, and much more content and many more months and hopefully years to come on the channel. So stay positive, everybody, and have a great day.